Good morning. It's the Todd and Erin morning stream here on GetPartDaily.com. How are you? And there you are. Surprise, surprise.
I was working.
You know, you always leave me in here, especially when Mike does the creepy camera thing.
Let me see your. Oh wait. Oh, just for us?
A present?
Mike said.
Thank you, Mike.
He ordered a rum cake, and he really likes this company, and they said they'll send you a free gift. And since we haven't opened
this is very exciting.
Any Christmas presents, he said we could open it.
That would be nice.
Yeah, I know. Oh.
They're petite.
Oh. And the show is over. Okay.
Look, they're so small. They're just very tiny. The little tiny baby bits of cheese. What else did we get?
Oh my gosh.
These are Mike's. Stop getting your grip.
Well, he's busy now.
You're smudging on them.
Oh, look, I'm a giant.
It's ham sausage.
This is going to be horrible. We're going to have to sit here the whole show.
And it's a spread.
I brought
cheese
a plate.
spread.
It's cheese. No, actually, this company's good, aren't they? There's a card for you, Mike.
Nice.
Let's see what it says.
It says Todd's not going to give it back. Is that
pretty
what it
much.
says?
Screw him. Oh, that's really nice. It's a nice free gift. Are you going to re-gift it, aren't you? Probably so. I'm going to put the cheese tray right here.
That's a very appealing tableau.
Oh, Mountain Cam.
Oh, that's true. It's brought to you this morning by Brio Technologies. They are your experts in lighting, sound, and visual. They can set up, they can wrench, they can tear down, they can do all the work just like you are the little princess.
All right, so some big things this morning. Utah firefighters are gearing up. They're leaving. What time is it, 7?
Uh-huh.
It's 7:02. They are on the road just now, and they're heading to California.
Yeah, I think they all gathered up in Utah County, and they're kind of caravanning down together.
Hoping to be home in 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
Hopefully by Christmas.
Watching the video of the Santa Ana winds, though, I mean, it's just...
explosive.
Yeah, I've talked to girlfriends who are down there, and they said it's always crazy this time of year, but for right now, it's just... It's overwhelming. They say so many people are just standing there watching everything they own burn. This poor woman at a horse ranch, and they literally had to pick her up and more or less contain her and put her in the car.
Right.
And the firefighters were crying with her. I mean, they felt...
But they got the horses out, I read.
Most of it, yeah, most of them. But it's just, I mean, it's got to be equally as emotional for them. I mean, it's like, that's their entire job. My job here is to save you. My job is to protect you. And they have to watch everything burn, too. It's got to be awful for them. So I'm glad our Utah guys are going down again to help them out.
Me too. Do you want to tell the people what I do now?
We moved into this new house, and there's this little section of the dining room. It's like shelves with the glass that goes back and forth over it, and
it looks like the trophy case at a high school. Remember walking down and
obviously meant
and
to be a china cabinet.
Yeah.
But Todd, that looked like the trophy cases in your average high school.
So I went to the DI, and you can buy them for 50 cents. And so I've got about 10 of them. And then what I've started to do now...
Now he and Zoe arranged them proudly in our trophy case in our dining room.
Well, I present them to Zoe. When she makes her bed, I go, Zoe, good job. Here's your trophy. And then we take it, we put it back into the thing. She likes it.
It has saved us so much money on allowance.
It really has. And it only cost us 50 cents.
And what was that one for, were you claiming? It was for our dance skills?
Dancing skills.
Yeah. He congratulates me regularly on our competition and performance.
Mm-hmm. We have bowling, canoeing, badminton.
Archery was
Archery,
good.
because that's a good one. It's a good statue. So anyway, try it if you want. And it's only 50 cents. Elf on the Shelf adventure. Someone gave, and you've been watching, hopefully, and someone gave us 2 elves on the shelf.
This is after we sort of displayed our ignorance about the real point of an elf on the shelf and how we really questioned their need for existence. And someone had sent us 2 saying, "Look, this is important. You need to be able to invest yourself in this."
So it started off a little rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't help but feel perhaps they're competitive because they are siblings.
Right, and I'm not sure I understand the thing. Here's the next one. Yeah. See, I might be a little off track.
I don't know. Crockpot elf might be delicious. Who knows?
That's a dangerous.
That was just plain mean-spirited.
That
really was.
Yeah,
That was just hostile.
There's a new one though. There you go. It's playful.
You're so weird.
It's trying to spread the
You know,
holiday cheer.
You're making children cry all over the city today. You know
No, that's
right?
in the next frame, but never mind. We won't show that now. I'm really trying to get the spirit of the elf on a shelf, and I'm getting there.
You're getting somewhere.
Do you know where the weed eater is? That would be hilarious. Mitt Romney, who's picking on him?
Ooh, well,
Bannon.
remember Steve Bannon, who I think essentially, what did Mike call him? He looks like he's a potato wrapped in poo.
Yeah,
Yeah, pretty much. I think that's a given.
very expressive man.
And he said something really charming when he was screeching in Alabama when he was
Right.
campaigning. Todd and I swear to God, and you may not always believe this, but we really do try to remain as balanced as humanly possible because there's no
Yeah.
reason to offend you and your beliefs if this is something that's important. But I don't know anyone who has said, Judge Roy Moore, the pedophile, I'm for him. And Steve Bannon is campaigning for him now in Alabama, and he went after Mitt Romney because Mitt had stood up and said, look, there is no vote to maintain any kind of majority that is worth violating your integrity and your principles.
So he wouldn't do it.
For instance, talking about Moore. And apparently he had been asked to endorse him and to urge Republican leaders to vote, which is why he stood up and went, no, I'm not going to do that ever, not ever.
Steve Bannon came back and said he avoided the draft for Vietnam by going on a 2-year mission. And then the governor came out and said...
Ooh, yeah, Governor Herbert was pretty specific, and he's a pretty laid-back guy. You don't see him really lose it. He called Steve Bannon a Mormon bigot. And this is, of course, after Bannon accused Romney of hiding behind his faith. He said it's a low blow because of politics, and he says it smacks of old-fashioned Mormon bigotry. It's pretty clear that's what Steve Bannon has demonstrated. He said there's other ways to serve your country, and it's interesting. I mean, just about every Utah political leader came out in condemnation saying, no, that's so offensive. But it is kind of interesting. Herbert said that Bannon was attacking the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints at the same time he was attacking Mitt Romney. And he also pointed out, and I didn't know this, the church had actually limited the number of missionaries during the Vietnam War, being aware of the fact that the troops were important and that there was there was need for that, and they didn't want to feel like they were pulling everybody for Mormon missions at the same time. So they actually did cut the mission call, I believe, in half during that period so that people could go on, that people could actually go over and fight as well. So it's just, and wow.
And let's just wrap this up by going blah, 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 blah.
It just, ugh.
It's just endless. So
I know.
anyway.
It's like a greasy undertaste, like in your mouth, just even saying the word Bannon. And it's, yeah, okay.
Tell me a better story than that.
I think we've got a really good one. Okay, I fell in love with this woman. I got a chance to talk to her the other day because I had to ask for permission. There were two women who
to use the picture, right?
There's two women who met someone whose life they had saved. Her name's Michelle Bernauer, and she had been outside the Ross Shopping Department at the district. This is in South Jordan. This was about 6 months ago. And all of a sudden she collapsed. She was bleeding, literally from the mouth. She had no pulse. She was having a heart attack. And she's a frail lady. When you see this picture, you'll see why. When this happened, she's right there, very sweet. The beautiful brunette to the left is the one I've been talking to. Amanda Dalley and Miranda Jensen saw this, and they both came racing over. And Jensen started doing 911. She called for help. 911. She started doing CPR. And so Daly heard this, and she had just barely learned the new system of doing CPR to the tune of "Staying Alive," that Bee Gees song.
That's the right tempo to do it.
And that's so she started, and she said, "Here's the part that kills me." So they're going through this. They're going through the CPR. They're still waiting for an ambulance, and then Amanda realizes she's going. We're not getting her. And so she grabs the store's defibrillator, calls them, says, "Get it over here. Let me see it. I need it."
Oh my gosh.
Okay, this is the bravest thing. I can't imagine being the one to go, I'm charging at paddles and I'm going to use them on someone. She said, I pushed it and I remember seeing her jump from the shock. And she said, I won't lie, it was really, really scary. But it worked, and they started breathing. And it's funny because it was like this miraculous confluence of timing, because Jensen had just barely gotten her refresher course on CPR a month ago. And Amanda, my girl, is a former softball coach, and she was trained also on how to use defibrillators,
right,
because she was working in schools.
The little portable ones. They have like fire extinguishers now.
And her brother-in-law is a South Jordan firefighter, and so she said, he's taught her a lot of stuff over the years. And so she texted him, and she said, my hands were shaking. He said, you'd be really proud of me. The training today totally paid off.
So they got to meet each other?
Uh-huh.
That's so nice.
It was really sweet, because she said that more than anything, when we were texting, she said, I'm excited to hear it. More than anything, we want people to learn basic CPR and how to use a defibrillator. She says it was a scary story, but she said the amazing ending was totally worth it. She said that we'd like to believe that if there was someone else in that situation, that maybe people would know what to do. So that was just such a great example. So, girls, you were absolutely amazing, and thank you for saving her life. You know, every time you throw out my slippers, another angel dies. Just so you know that, all right? Just so you know.
There's a family, and this happens around the country, not just not just at Walmart stores. It happens at a lot of department stores and stuff like that. This time of year, it's really strange. It's not strange, but a single mom of two, and they put a bunch of stuff up on layaway, and so they bought it when it was on sale.
Yeah.
Boom, they put it in there.
Layaway came back during the Great Recession.
It really did.
Because everyone was having so much trouble.
So she's sitting there, and she's paying little bits, about $600 for the entire Christmas package thing. And she goes to her email one morning, looks it up, and there's a notice from Walmart. She's typing it in. She's going, what's this about? And it said, dear blah, 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 your account has now been paid off. Feel free to come and get your merchandise whenever it is convenient for you. So this guy goes in to Walmart, and he pays off 25% of all the layaway fees for this one store.
It's freaking amazing.
It is freaking amazing. And those emails went out like just...
Can you imagine?
It's like, oh, got to send another good email. It's just... So anyway, I just thought it was a great story. And not anonymous. The best kind.
And I've actually heard since they developed the story a little bit, and it's actually a group of businessmen who were trying to think of something that they could do that would have...
Let them into Kevin, finally.
Yeah, well, no, but they were thinking, okay, I don't want to do another expensive, fancy fundraiser for some expensive charity, and they were trying to think of what they could do on the grassroots level in their own towns, and they've been communicating amongst each other. So this has actually been happening in 20 different cities at the same time.
That's really cool.
And they said if we had more money, we would do more, but they said this is something they want to do every year. And it's interesting, people have become so much more creative and subtle about what they're doing on a really local grassroots basis. I was shopping, and Todd and I always shop at the same two Smiths, so we know everybody. They've more or less seen our kids grow up, so they're very patient. Thank you. But I was watching this older man, and he went over to one of my favorite cashiers, and he goes, here's my 20, and he walked off, and I said, what is that? And she said, every week he comes by when he does his shopping, and he gives me a 20, and he said, save that for somebody you know who's going to need it.
Right.
Same things happen.
Someone's come through the line.
Yeah, another person that they know that is not doing well, and then they hand them the 20 to pad out their grocery budget. Same things happened. I've talked to a couple of pharmacists that people will come by to get their prescriptions, and they say, we know you're going to have someone who's got chronic issues,
right,
or who's older, and
insurance sucks.
Yeah, will you throw this, and it's
right,
a 20, and that's a lot of money for a lot of us, but it's still a small gesture that can go a really long way, because especially for the people who know who's coming through your line day after day, it's a big deal.
Want to know a trick? You want to know a trick? You're standing behind someone, or even a couple back, and you see them and they're starting to put stuff back, right? Horrible. And they're putting like important stuff back, and no milk, and they've got kids, and like this. And here's the secret. You bend down on the ground, and you have money in your hand already, and you come up and you say, oh, I'm sorry, I think you dropped this. And then they're going to go, no, and you're going to go, yeah, it was right there. I think it's yours. And then, no, and then you look at the cashier, and you go, she just dropped this money, and why don't you just take it?
Because you know she dropped it.
Right. Mm-hmm. Finders keepers.
No,
so
it just makes
it's a
me
great
happy.
way to take that awkward thing out, and then they get all their stuff. Christmas spirit carried on. Information
That was
time.
very nice. Well, we need to go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily Newsroom. She is brought to you by UtahCreditApproval.com. Look, bad things do happen to good people, but you can get your credit back on track, get a reliable automobile, and you can do it by calling them at 801-921-9819. Also by Altaview Intermountain Healthcare. You know, they have a brand new clinic that's actually 22 clinics all in one, and an open house this afternoon where you could win a Disneyland trip for 4. Todd and I are going to be there. We'd love to see you. Also by Black Diamond Experts. They are experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. Brand new place up in Ogden now, so they're even closer to you in Weber County. You can reach them at blackdiamondexpert.com. Daisy, my dear, what's going on?
Thanks, Todd and Erin. Hello, everyone. Here's what's making headlines Thursday, December 7th on GephartDaily.com. 2 people are in police custody after a wild chase overnight throughout much of the Salt Lake Valley. Officers from the U.S. Marshals Service started looking for the wanted fugitive Clinton Weeks after he was spotted earlier in the day carrying an AR-15 semi-automatic rifle in the halls of a local residence inn. Police tracked him to Kearns, where the chase started about 2 a.m. After 20 minutes and a couple of tire spikings, officials got their man. A woman who was inside the car was also taken into custody. A top leader in an LDS ward in American Fork has been arrested on suspicion of forcible sexual abuse. Police say 44-year-old second counselor Jeffrey Graton was taken into custody after a teenage girl told another church official Graton had abused her in the past. The alleged victim told questioners Graton had touched her inappropriately 3 years prior on at least 10 occasions. Graton was arrested on suspicion of 3 counts of forcible sexual abuse, a second-degree felony. And nearly 100 Utah firefighters from multiple agencies are deploying to Southern California to help battle the devastating wildfires that are still burning out of control. The personnel are deploying under the Emergency Management Assistance Compact, a system of state-to-state mutual aid, according to information from the Utah Division of Emergency Management. The deployment is expected to last 14 days. Time now for a look at the Wasatch Front weather, brought to you by our wild and woolly sponsors at Brio Technologies, Utah's top audiovisual experts. If you like the weather for the last few days, then you'll like our forecast for the rest of the week. Our daytime temps will continue to hover in the mid to upper 30s. Overnight lows will be in the low 20s. Yeah, I'm sure a lot of you just love that. Chance of rain or snow is just about zilch, nada, ain't gonna happen. That's it for now. For more local headlines 24/7, go to GephartDaily.com. Todd and Erin, back to you.
Thank you, Daisy.
All right. Good. Welcome back, Todd and Erin show. The 7th. That's tonight.
Mm-hmm.
That's tonight. And tell them about the great open house.
Oh, no,
they
this
have
is Intermountain Altiview Clinics. Now, we actually toured this, and it's 22 clinics in one, and it literally starts from, like, childbirth. They have this epic midwife group that's there, to all the way to obstetrics, all the way to pediatrics, all the way to all of the surgical specialties you need as you go throughout your life, and then everything that you would need for maybe your aging mother or your grandparents.
It's all
And the
brand
cool
new.
thing is like, it's all brand new and perfect and pretty, and it's literally everything you need. So it's not like, because right now, how many places do we drive all over town?
Well, you know what it's like.
I mean, between all of the doctor appointments and everything for our 4 family members, it's, I don't know.
How many
it's
different hospitals? 3?
Bazillion.
Private
9,
offices, 4.
6, 7, 8.
Now you
And
got
so,
one place.
Imagine that.
One place, convenient. They have all your records right there. They can transfer it to the clinic next door. It's perfect. And so the open house is tonight. Jolly old man's going to be there. Food and cool
Disneyland
stuff.
trip for 4, you could win
Yes.
that. If you want to go to the Altiview page, Facebook page today, by the way, you can RSVP, and that makes it a little bit easier. That way you know you're in the running for the Disneyland trip. It's all good. But they'll have food there. They've got Lower Bowl jazz tickets, movie tickets.
As a matter of fact, we were there.
Yes,
You want
we
to see?
were.
Here's some of it right here.
So we are in the new Intermountain Altiview Clinic. This is the new location of 22 different specialties, from primary care to dermatology to plastic surgery. We want it to be the one stop that a patient would need to get all their care, and that is the goal of this location. This building, when it is all said and done, will be 160,000 square feet. It's actually 2 separate buildings. It's the current Altiview specialty building, and we basically put a 4-story addition onto it. So at the end of the day, those 2 buildings will be one building, the Altiview Clinic. And so our journey started roughly about 2 years ago when our design session started. Intermountain does a great job of incorporating the staff and providers when designing a building. There's a design team that was made up of providers, staff members, both clinical and non-clinical, the architects, of course, and our project managers. And basically, we worked from our workflow processes and then designed the space around the workflow processes. So we want our patients to be able to seamlessly move through our clinic without feeling like they're backtracking or there's convoluted processes to get to the end. We want it to be a very seamless experience for our patients. And the coolest thing in the building is honestly some of the natural light. One of our strong pushes for this building was to have the natural, beautiful scenery that's outside of our location to be visible for our patients. So we want our patients to feel comfortable the whole way. I'm just really excited about the synergy that this building will have, having all the different specialties from primary care to specialists all in one place where our patients can have a home for their health care. Their primary care doctor can talk to the specialist about, a concern they might have about their health. The ability for the patient to leave an appointment and go straight to the pharmacy that's located on the first floor and pick up their prescription. They can go straight down and get their imaging done. They can get their lab services done, all in one location. So having this nice, convenient location that basically takes care of our patients is great.
All right, so tonight, Altaview, Intermountain Altaview Clinics. That's cool. I want to tell you something good, but
Okay.
before, can I say something?
Well, yeah.
These little bits that you have, turn this way. These don't hide them under a bushel. I like these little bits of yours. They offset that one long eyelash that you have that drives me crazy. Now I'm a little distracted by those.
Well, thank God I've
look
given
very
you
pretty.
something else to focus
You
on.
look very pretty.
You're really that offended by my eyelash.
I can't stop looking at it. It's
What is wrong with you?
it's like this much longer. Okay, so I'll draw you a picture. Okay, here, looking down, here are your eyelashes. All right. I don't have time for the chalkboard. All right, so there is her eyelashes. So this would be looking down, right? Down like this. And then that's the other one. Totally crazy. And it gets mascara on it, and it makes it even longer. And you can't stop looking at it. But I do like these bits right here. All right, tell me something good. Here it is. The internet connects a lot of different people in a very serendipitous way.
It's very true. Two of my closest friends I've met online.
Like using words that I can't spell. And so people meet each other and they become good friends, and it really doesn't, there are no boundaries to it. So there is a game, so basically it's a game. It's like Scrabble.
Yeah, it's Words with Friends. Everybody's.
Words with friends.
We've seen people sit next to each other in the car and play it online. Sitting
Right.
next to each other. It's funny.
So anyway, there's Spencer Slayan. He is 22 years old, and he's been playing Rosalind, Roz they call her, and she is 81. He's 22, lives in Harlem. She's 81. She lives in a retirement home.
Oh, I like
For
this
some
combination
reason,
already.
They match you up with someone. They say, okay, let's do it, and then you go play. And if you have a good time playing, and their competitive level, feel comfortable with, that's your partner for a while. 324 games later. So he was talking to someone about his relationship with this grandma, and it's 1,000 miles from where they live, and here they are, and they've been playing for years.
So he traveled 1,000 miles to meet
To go
her.
see her, yeah.
I absolutely love that.
Right?
The thing that's so sweet though is that when Spencer even talked about this to his pastor, she thought it was such a beautiful story that she actually put it into a sermon of hers, talking about how relationships change us, and that was the thing that moved him to go, I've got to go meet her. I've got to go know who this person is.
So from New York to Florida, and got to meet her, and it's just so funny though, because he's a inspiring rapper.
Can you show the picture again? Because the thing that I love most about this, though, is how moved they both are to see each other. Look at his face. I mean, I am so in love with this couple because these two have become such good friends, and you see the connection and the combination there. It's like the two last people in the world
That you would think.
that should be friends,
Right.
and they are, and it's gorgeous.
And they argue over the rules and stuff all the time.
I bet the cheater is her.
She
She looks sly.
says the relationship has changed them both. That is something good.
That is more than something good.
All right, so we should talk about Christopher's
Speaking
really
of
quick.
something delicious,
Oh
that
my
would be
gosh.
Spencer. That would be Christopher's Prime Steakhouse.
It is perfect place to go eat dinner.
Yes, and here's the nice thing, especially now that we're talking about the holidays. Imagine having a wonderful holiday dinner there with 3 friends, going out and seeing the lights. Maybe you're doing some shopping, and there's nowhere more delicious. I mean, that's one of the things. This is the number one place that visitors go to when they come into town. They say, "Where's the steakhouse?"
Where's
this is where
Christopher's?
they go. So this is what we wanted to do. We want to send you and 3 friends there. All you have to do to enter to win
those
is
onions.
just drop a comment. Drop a comment right now, and you're done. You've entered. And then tomorrow, it being Friday, we're going to draw another winner. So this is the perfect time to jump in.
All right.
Now you can do this on the Gephardt Daily approved Facebook page, Gephardt approved, or you can also do it on the Todd and Erin Facebook page.
right.
Do it under the show, and you're done.
Coming up next, you guys are going to tell us, you and Daisy,
Oh, there's so many cool weekend
what's
things.
going on this weekend, and they're gonna crush you with Christmas. You just know it's coming up.
Against your will.
It's coming up next.
Todd and Erin's Morning Stream, brought to you by Utah Credit Approval. Bad things happen to good people, helping you on the road to good credit with just the right car. Go to utahcreditapproval.com or call them at 801-404-7201. Also brought by Columbus Travel. Columbus Travel has an epic sale on cruises through the 21st of October. You can get hotel and everything you can imagine just for less than the price you would of simple airfare. You have to talk to them first at columbusvacations.com. And All Utah Plumbing. Your home deserves the best. 24-hour emergency service at allutahplumbing.com. Did you know you can catch the Todd and Erin Morning Stream any time of the day or night on Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud, and GephardtDaily.com?
Hey, it's Todd and Erin, and this is pretty cool.
We are at the Intermountain Altaview Clinic. Now, this is actually 22 clinics, all squooshed together with some amazing specialties. And the nice thing about it is you can take care of everybody in your family all together.
Now, don't touch anything because it's still kind of wet because it's so brand new. Now, they're having the open house, like you said, on December 7th, but they've got some great things. If you go to their Facebook page, what you can do is register there for some great prizes, like movie tickets, like Lower Bowl Jazz tickets, and, Disneyland tickets.
A trip for 4, by the way, and of course, celebrity guests.
Right here, celebrity guests with food, and there he is now, the jolly old soul. How are you doing, Santa?
I'm doing great. I like this place.
Well, you should. It's got something that everyone can use.
Health for the holidays.
That's what we have.
Santa is rather profound.
We'll see you December 7th.
I'm just kidding. It's John with All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. Give us a call so that you don't get coal delivered.
I mean, it's just gorgeous. It's a beautiful movie. I'm dying to see it. All right, here we are. We're back. It's Daisy, the oh-so-beloved Daisy here on the Todd and Erin Morning Stream. How are you, darling?
Good. I have a question for you about the trophies. I'm very curious about this. So when you have the trophies for bowling and archery and dancing and all this, does Zoe think that you and Todd won them all legitimately doing all those things?
You know, she started that way, and she was beginning to think that we actually had some sort of coordination. And then Todd took her with him to Deseret Industries to pick up a couple of new ones, and she went, "My whole life is a lie."
Okay, because I was like, if you're like, we're going to give you this trophy that Mommy and Daddy won for like swing dancing or whatever, you know, and she thinks you're like these absolutely like multi-talented. I mean, you are.
Yeah, sure that,
You know, lots of strings to your bow. If you told her that you won.
No, the
them
worst part is
all.
everyone came over for Thanksgiving, and my own mother went, "I didn't know you and Todd won a trophy for dancing. That's beautiful." And I'm like, "You've seen me move before, Mom, right? You remember who your daughter?"
And also, when exactly would we be doing this in our incredibly busy lives? Like, dancing lessons too?
I'm still creeped out. I'm still creeped out by the whole concept that he needed to have the trophy case, and that he somehow viewed the china cabinet as a trophy case, and it had to be that way.
That's pretty awesome, though.
I guess I just gave in.
It's those
You're
slidey
married. There's
doors,
something. That's true.
There's got to be trophies behind those slidey doors.
It's like
you
the
know?
culture. It's like the cultural hall in your average ward. There's always the little thing, and then the sliding glass doors, and that's always the dead giveaway. That it's the Relief Society room. Same thing with this one. It has to be a trophy case.
And what's in the Relief Society room?
It has more of those
Trophies?
little cabinets. No, it's just the cabinets with the sliding glass doors, and it's usually all inspiring crap and crafts and stuff.
Oh, see, I've never been in one of those.
There's certain recognizable things that you see every time you go, "Yes, I know what that is," and that I guess the connection was too much for him, so now we have to have trophies there. You got to respect it.
I respect it. I fully respect that decision.
Or fear it. I'm never sure which.
No,
Todd.
I think we can. I think we can go with accepting it.
All right, that's good. We'll do that. Okay, so there's some amazing weekend stuff, and I know that you always have the best stuff. But there was one I thought was really sweet. It is a book signing tomorrow. It's the 12 Sleighs of Christmas. It's Jake Parker. It's at King's English. And since we're both bookworms, King's English is one of those last surviving, I will stand alone, I will be a small independent bookstores. And they've done this by bringing in all these great local authors and then authors from all around the country to do book signings and readings. And this one, of course, is for kids.
Oh, amazing.
And it's very cute when the elves discover that Santa's sleigh is in a terrible state. They're trying to design something new, and you end up with all of these bizarre and wild permutations because you know the elves, they're like that.
Yeah.
So it's a very, very cute story. And it's obviously free admission. Come on in. He's going to read it. He's going to sign some books if you like. And that is going to be on Saturday. 11 a.m., King's English Bookstore.
And I will say, if you haven't been to King's English, it's in a charming little, it's 15th and 15th.
Oh, yeah,
and
yeah.
It's such a cute little area. And my mum took me to a really good gelato shop.
Really?
Which, yeah, I had no idea. But it's, you know how, like, 2 doors to the right of King's English used to be a Starbucks?
Yeah.
On the corner?
Yeah.
That's now a gelato shop.
That is so
And
much
it's
better than a Starbucks.
Super good. So you can go and do your King's English bits and pieces and then go and eat gelato.
It's really hard to argue with that.
What's the downside?
There really isn't a downside that involves gelato.
No,
Ever.
Never.
Ever.
Right? Oh my gosh, it's always an upside when gelato is involved.
All right, so that's my small contribution, but you have gone psycho. You have all the good stuff.
I'm just like around this time of the year because I'm like this and this and this and this and so many things. So Saturday we went to see the Nutcracker, Ballet West, the Nutcracker.
Yes, and what did you think?
Well, it's always gorgeous, but most people have heard this year there's been basically the last 2 years they have put $3 million into renovating the costumes and the and the sets and a little of the choreography because they were working. I believe they had the costumes for ages and they were literally falling apart.
Oh wow.
And
that would make sense though. It's been what, 40 years?
Yeah. And I mean the new, you can see the new version.
Oh, they're so pretty.
Breathtaking.
Oh, and they all look like flowers.
And the thing I loved is that down to the tiniest details, like when these girls were dancing and their skirts swooshed up, there was like 3 colors on the netting underneath the skirts.
I
so
love
it's
that.
like it's so gorgeous and the sets are beautiful and it's just charming and magical.
That is darling. I love that.
Yeah.
They looked like upside down flowers. That was really charming.
Yeah, it's so nice. And so it's at Capitol Theatre. It goes through December 30th, and you've got most evenings at 7, and then also matinees if you've got littles. But it's not super long.
I was interested in this one specifically because they said that they had changed up some of the styling too, that it was a little bit more modern, more approachable. What did you think?
Yes,
I mean, you don't want to
that.
screw with the classic too much,
Yeah.
but I've heard that they kind of freshened some of it up.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just very enjoyable, and there's enough variety that if you're taking, like if you took Zoe, she's not going to get super
Twitchy.
twitchy. So the tickets are $20 through $88. So obviously you can go upper end if you want to, and you can also go a little bit cheaper if you maybe don't have the money but you want to take your
Capitol
kids.
Theatre is part of the experience though. It's exquisite. It's such a beautiful place, and there's not a bad seat. I mean,
and it's so charming because you go and everyone's in their nice outfits.
It's a thing. You're right.
It's a thing. So balletwest.org for tickets, and then also the other cute thing is they do a sugar plum party after most matinees, so you can go and meet the Sugar Plum Fairy and have cookies and punch and get a picture with her.
All right, I've got to do this.
So it's
Zoe, we're going, honey.
It's pretty charming. Yeah, are you going to take Zoe?
I have to. I have to on principle now. That's so cool.
And we have family coming in for Christmas, and my 9-year-old niece is coming, so we're gonna
You know, it's a really spendy afternoon if you do this, but what my mom used to do with us is that she would take us to the Nutcracker, and then she would take us down to the Grand America Hotel. Have you ever had their high English tea there?
No, but I've heard it's amazing.
We should try it out just so you can tell me if it's authentic. But you dress up and there's like women in hats. I mean, it's that level of awesome.
Yeah.
And you know, and you have the perfect pinky, and everything's so exquisitely laid out. So it's like that one thing that reminds you vaguely that you're supposed to be a lady at some point in your lifetime. I mean, it really is amazing.
But so special. I mean, you know, making memories.
Not every day, but yeah, it's exquisite. And you're right. You'll look at the pictures forever and go, we were almost cool.
Yeah. Yeah. No, you
Right?
are cool, I think.
All right, so that is number one,
Yeah,
and it's
that's
beautiful.
number one. And then number two, I'm going to slot this in here because I think Jay's still asleep, and I don't think he's watching the show
If you
now.
haven't met this recently, Jay is actually Daisy's husband, and he's adorable. He's also an actor and a musician, and he's super adorable. And everybody who meets him thinks he's adorable, and Daisy's adorable. So they're really like almost an overload of adorable. And then she gets dark, and it all evens out again.
That's right. That's right. And he's in a band called The Vitals, which is him. That Jay's on the right.
They're wearing their hideous Christmas sweaters.
Hideous Christmas sweaters. So it's Jay, his cousin, his godfather, and a really good family friend. And they are playing at Pat's Barbecue, which is down on Commonwealth Avenue, kind of down south West Temple, just not that far. And it's 7 till 9 on Saturday. And here, every time Jay has a gig,
We finally have a babysitter.
Are you going to come?
Yes, I'm so excited.
I tell everyone, like I'm in Smith's yesterday, hey, my husband has a gig Saturday, you want to come? He's really good. And then I get home and I say, I've invited the governor, I've invited Mitt Romney, I've invited Mia Love, the cashier in Smith's, and Jay will be like, don't tell me who you've invited, because he gets nervous.
Oh,
right?
I love that. You wouldn't think by
So-
now he would be nervous anymore.
He gets nervous. So later on, he's going to kill me. He probably doesn't want me to talk about it on
We
the
all
show.
need to crush Pats.
But secretly, come to the gig. Come and see Jet, because they're really good.
I'm looking forward to it because I've never tried their barbecue, and I know it's supposed to be great. What's the admission price?
Free.
Really?
Yeah. Oh,
Come by, have a
hold
snack.
on. We need something. When we say free, do you want yours?
Yes.
too?
No, yes, please, yes.
There you go. Oh,
Oh, we only have one.
let's get both.
Thank you. It's a new thing we're trying. It's like window
I had to
dressing.
go past Todd.
I'm
He's
sorry.
furious. He's furious.
Okay,
so
ready?
let's go
You
back
start.
and you say, what's the price?
I saw that.
No.
So, Daisy, I was wondering, what was the price on admission to Pat's Barbecue and this amazing band on Saturday?
Free. How long can we go?
Yeah, actually, we could do it for quite a while.
We could take it to Pat's and do this while they play.
I think we should. That's not going to be scary at all.
Conducive to
Yeah.
everything good.
Everyone looking puzzled. What's this about?
Yeah,
Okay,
so 7
perfect.
to 9, Pat's Barbecue. Todd and Erin are going to be there. I'm going to be there. Jay's going to be there. Come down. It's free. Have some barbecue. Chat with us. And
What do they play?
they play a lot. Well, during the year, they play lots of, they do like Steve Earle and Oasis and the Beatles. And
A little of everything.
a
Very
little
cool.
of everything. But then they've got like four Christmas songs that they're doing.
They have to have something to go with those hideous sweaters.
Yes.
I mean, those are really unattractive. I'm very proud.
Really bad. So it's going to be fun.
Cool.
And then I picked another free thing just because I saw this somewhere and I just thought it was cool. Did you know that you can go and tour the governor's mansion around Christmas and see all the pretty things?
It's absolutely beautiful.
Oh, you've done it?
Yeah, I did
Is
it
it
during.
amazing?
I did it during Mary Kay Huntsman's reign, and she's from Florida, so she had mixed up all the colors, and so she had a lot of really bright oranges and pinks on the walls. And I think it probably killed the interior decorator a little bit inside every day when she walked in. But it was really bright and really pretty.
Yeah.
But the lights and all of the decorations are incredible, absolutely beautiful.
And I think that's super cool that you can go. So it's Tuesday.
And they tell you about the history.
Yeah,
of the mansion and
it's,
stories about who's been there and what's happened. And
Yeah, someone from the Utah Heritage Foundation takes you through, and it's 2 to 4 on Tuesdays and Thursdays through December 18th. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think you have to call and make reservations. But
I believe so, just because it tends to get pretty crowded. So I believe that's right.
Yeah. So you can go, if you Google Governor's Mansion, or the phone number to call is 801-538-1005. But that's something we're going to do, because I think that's really cool that you can actually go into the governor's mansion and look at the nice Christmas decorations and stuff.
It's interesting. That's been one of the big topics on the morning stream, like on Facebook, when people are talking about stuff during the show. And a lot of the moms have mentioned that like it's new parents that just barely had kids and they want to start traditions, or it's people who are further on and they're like, we don't have any traditions of our own. We don't have anything that we do that's like our thing. And so there's been a lot of discussion about that. It's going to drive me crazy. A discussion about this year about what kind of traditions can we set that kind of give our it's like that, you know how it is, because you do that with your family. There's those milestones, that sense of history that you kind of go back to those moments. And so it's cool. So I like the idea that you're doing this because it gives people some new tradition ideas that maybe they want to start.
Definitely.
And I love them, and they're all beautiful.
Yeah, so I think we'll definitely try and do that. And that's just a fun afternoon thing that you can do, and it doesn't cost anything. So, because that's the other thing around Christmas, that there's so much expenditure with presents and food and, parties that, people say, let's go out to dinner and all that, that really, if there are free things, that's super cool, because you just,
it's not like we've got any extra at this point.
You're not just like, spending tons and tons of money.
It's true. All right, so there's only one movie coming out this weekend, really, that's of note, and that is Just Getting Started. And this is sort of, I think they call this the geriatric comedy genre now. Tommy Lee Jones, Morgan Freeman, getting up to generalized hijinks and ill behavior. And here's a look.
Diver, resident manager of this resort community. Music!
As a new resident, I think you're going to be very impressed with what we have here.
Oh, tango, tai chi. People just seem so happy here.
Duke.
The Duker.
The Duke.
He's a resident champion of everything around here. Who is that in my parking spot?
It's Mr. Diver's spot.
Mr. Diver make you wear those clothes.
There's new food on the buffet.
What the? 20 minutes, he's got them lined up for a three-way.
Four-way if anybody's counting. I heard this is where the action's at.
Where you from, Leo?
I'm a citizen of the world.
Military?
Ex-military.
I gotta warn you, cousin, we play for...
Tommy Lee Jones and Morgan Freeman.
Yes.
I love that combination.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that does sound good. I don't know, this doesn't totally grab me, but it might, might be surprisingly good. Those two are really good.
It reminds me a little bit of The Bucket List, but perhaps not quite as dark.
And also that one that came out super recently with Michael Caine. It was three guys in the bank robbery.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of a new thing, isn't it? Yeah,
we'll see. There's more stuff coming up towards the end of the month that's really beautiful, well done films that they're obviously in the category for the award season, like the Oscars. And there's one coming
excited
up.
about one.
Guillermo del Toro with Shape of Water, and we'll tell you about it later. But these are the ones I'm excited to see because they're going to be incredible.
Yeah,
and some of them still even have explosions.
We like explosions.
I know, but you know how excited I get.
You love explosions.
Explosions. You like plots, and I like explosions.
What did I see Friday? I saw a movie Friday. Wonder. Oh, I think I told you about that.
No, you didn't. How was it?
So good.
Did you cry through a whole box of tissues?
I really did.
Is it inspiring
really
too? Please
did.
tell me that, because the ones that tear my heart out and that don't actually put it back in my chest are the ones that are the hardest for me.
It's very inspiring. The thing that I was really nicely surprised about was that I thought it was basically just about the little boy and his point of view, but it's like an onion that you unwrap a bunch of layers and it changes. So you start with his perspective, and then it shifts to his older sister's perspective.
I love this.
So it's like, okay, he's the center of the world, which is what she says. He's the sun, and everyone else orbits around him. But the premise is that you then go to, okay, she's his big sister, but no one kind of listens to her because they're so focused on him. And then you shift to like, the mom and what her dreams are and
Julia
how that
Roberts,
so it's really it's giving me goosebumps.
You're getting chills. I can see it.
Yeah, it's really good. So if you haven't seen it yet, I would.
That sounds wonderful.
Definitely go see it.
Although I do have to pay back Nick. He's a friend of ours who hangs out with Zachy, and they do a lot of social based things. And last night I said, hey, there's we've already seen Coco, so that one was out.
Okay.
But there's another kids movie called Star, and it was like, I guess, about a donkey's adventures of the first Christmas, and I went, I'm apologizing in advance. I'm sure it's a kid's show, but here, will you take Zach? He came home with this look of hatred that I've so rarely seen. He said, I'm not a huge Christian. He said, but even if I were like the most Christian in the world, I would have hated this movie.
Oh, no.
So I just wanted to pass that along, that unless you want someone to come back and look at you with intense, deep hatred, it's called Star. It's probably not the movie. And he also said it was probably not a good sign that he and Zach were the only two in the entire theater.
Oh, gosh.
And it just released today. So yesterday.
Yeah, and
so
Wonder's good for kids too. That's the other thing.
Really?
Yeah, it is good for kids because it's super important lessons about kindness and inclusiveness and that kind of thing.
Okay, that's a big difference. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
That does make a difference
yeah,
in who you
totally
take.
good for kids, I would
Oh,
say.
I love that.
Yeah, it's super cute.
All right, you have imparted wisdom, you have offered opportunity, you've shown free things, and plus we've pimped out Jay and his band. So this is a good morning.
It is a good morning.
Yay!
Yes, it is.
All right, we're going to be back. We've got Daisy's news, and we also have the country's biggest city that just legalized recreational marijuana. This should be interesting. The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink & McGregor, Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, you'll find out that you can get a mortgage with a credit score as low as 600. Fink & McGregor, also by the Vein Clinic. If you go to theveinclinic.com, you can schedule an appointment and find out some amazing options for pain-free removal of varicose veins and spider veins. Your legs can look great again with the Vein Clinic. And also by Black Diamond Experts. They're experts in electric, plumbing, heating, and air. And they also have a brand new store up in Ogden now. If you'd like to reach them, you can go to blackdiamondexperts.com.
Apply today and drive away.
All right, welcome back to the Todd and Erin Morning Stream. This is going to be really interesting. LA is now going to become the largest city to have recreational marijuana.
So is that really changing anything, knowing that we're talking about LA? Like, oh, now you can smoke marijuana?
I think there'll be a lot less road rage because everyone will be driving 40 miles an hour and following taco trucks.
The guys who sell oranges on the end of the streets, like you are going to be out.
Oranges are out. Donuts are in, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know that. Well, first of all, they're going to sign it, and they pretty much know that the mayor's going to sign this, and it will become immediate.
Interesting.
Upon him signing it on January 1st.
You know, I have decisive opinions about medical marijuana.
Medical.
Specifically because of what we know about seizures in our children,
right,
and what we feel strongly it works. Recreational, I'm on the fence about. I don't know if I care one way or another. But it would be interesting to me to know if, I'd like to see more studies about whether or not use of like anti-anxieties and antidepressants and other kind of prescriptions, I wonder if those fall when these kinds of laws pass.
And I've heard, I don't know the sources, so I'm not gonna back it up, but I've heard many sources saying that in interviews with people with PSD and
PTSD,
that too, that they find relief in this, and they're not taking opioids. And the opioids, this situation with that is huge.
Well, it's back to medical, but recreational is a different thing. This
Yeah, it
is like
is.
going
You
out and
know,
having a cocktail. So what's the difference now with this?
I don't know. I don't know how I feel about it either. I mean, you know, you were brought up with Nancy Reagan saying just say no, and when I was a kid, they said if a guy smoked pot, he'd grow boobs. Seriously. That's why they're trying to scare us. If I grew those, I would never leave the house.
I'm not sure that's a strong argument for a teenage boy, but
Right?
okay, we'll go with it. Sure.
So I'm not sure. You know, to each his own. But the medical thing, I feel is so important, because if it's a grandma who's 81 with cancer and she doesn't have an appetite, she's got to eat. There's some answers. People have post-traumatic. That there's another answer. People are in severe pain, and if you're not doing opioids, How cool is that?
Especially everything we know now about opioids and death and accidental death and overdose. It's a big deal. So
And everyone has their own opinion, and I understand that, and to each his own. And I always say, well, how does it affect me?
So is this new? Because I've always thought it was like a statewide moratorium.
I know,
but
the
now
city, right?
But now it's like they can do it city by city.
I guess so. And LA is huge.
It's half the country.
Pretty much, right?
Population-wise, so that'll be interesting to see what happens.
And after they're doing the reading in Colorado and stuff, it's really interesting because the stores that open up, the dispensaries, there's really no licensing because they have the approval of the state, but it's still against federal law. And
it's
because
the
of
most
that,
confusing thing ever.
they cannot have a bank account.
Really?
They cannot have credit cards.
Even with the state mandate.
Cannot have credit cards. Everything is done in cash. All the sales are done in cash. Armored trucks show up every day and haul off the loot.
Yeah, that seems like a risk. I mean,
and the
crime-wise.
fact that somebody could come in and the feds could come in and stomp them and tear them up, tear down the place and confiscate everything, and you'd be out of business.
I don't think they can do that unless you're violating statute. I mean, there's
Well,
still
it's still
very
federal
specific.
law.
There's still specific things that you do, and they do. One of the reasons that they've liked the passing the medical marijuana laws in a lot of the states is it requires very rigorous testing now, so you know exactly what is in the product and exactly what you're taking and what the percentage is and its efficacy. And that's one of the things that's helped us with our kids because high CBD is the thing we look at. It's not THC. CBD is the non-psychotropic element in marijuana, and that's the thing that helps so many children, so many adults with seizures. But at least now you know what you're getting and what you're giving to someone you care about. And that's one of the reasons that they thought that passing the medical marijuana was so important. For recreational, it's back to, I don't know.
My sister lives in New Hampshire. A friend lives in Maine. In Maine, it's legal. You can grow 6 plants. You can't have more than 6 mature plants at a time.
So Maine is it legal for both then?
For growing. Yes.
But so if you can grow your own plants, then then it would be for recreational.
But I've lived in Maine, and there is nothing to do.
Oh.
No, I love it. It's like one of my favorite
catching
places
lobsters.
in the world.
There's lots of lobsters.
Because you're hungry all the time. So anyway, that's cool. Cool. That's unusual because LA. Think how big it is.
That's going to be interesting. That's like it's almost like a huge social experiment just about to kick off.
Yeah, this is true.
What happens with crime or with traffic or
It'd be
fast food outlets, all that stuff.
It'd be better as an experiment if they did it in Utah County.
I don't think we could consume any more ice cream than we do right now, honey. It's not possible. Let's go to Daisy. She's in the Gephardt Daily newsroom with actual factual information. She is brought to you by Fink and McGregor Mortgages Made Simple. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, Just Out and his group have an unbelievable array of mortgages for you, and they can have someone call you back within the next business day. Fink-mcgregor.com. Also by To Liberate a Man, you can free yourself from adult addictions for good with a new and tried and proven path. Liberate yourself from your addiction and bring yourself back to your family and your life. You can go to liberateaman.com, and also by All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, where our Uncle John is there waiting for you 24/7 if you have emergency issues, and also a new heating special where he can come in and check the furnace and make sure that your house is safe and efficient for winter at allutahplumbing.com. Daisy, my dear, what is going on today?
Good morning, Todd and Erin. Hello again, everyone. Here's a look at national and world news Thursday, December 7th on GephartDaily.com. There's been an outbreak of violence in the Middle East where Palestinians are squaring off against Israeli soldiers in the Gaza Strip. The reaction comes less than 24 hours after Donald Trump announced the U.S. would buck 70 years of diplomacy and recognize Jerusalem as Israel's capital city. Leaders of Hamas are calling for a new Palestinian uprising, while leaders from the Muslim world, including U.S. allies, are condemning the provocative move. The Pentagon has revealed the U.S. military now has about 2,000 troops in Syria, 4 times the number previously acknowledged. An army spokesman said the rather surprising news was the result of an imperative to balance what the public needs to know with strategic implications on the battlefield. If the numbers provided are to be believed, the U.S. now has 4,500 troops stationed in Iraq and 14,000 more in Afghanistan. Hopefully the news of the US build-up in Syria won't rattle Russian President Vladimir Putin. The Russian strongman announced Wednesday he will seek a 4th term in the spring, which will be his first campaign in 6 years. The 65-year-old Putin is extremely popular among the Russians with an 82% approval rating. Putin's led the Kremlin as president or prime minister for the last 17 years. That's it for now. For more headlines from across the country and around the world, go to GetPotDaily.com. For now, Todd and Erin, back to you.
Hey, Todd.
John,
What's up, bud?
nice
you
to see
okay
you.
there?
No. You've been telling us for weeks and months that was going to get close.
I've been telling you.
We don't listen to you. So I'm walking by one of your guys. He's on the phone, and he's talking to a client, and he's telling him about a furnace AC packaging thing.
Right,
What is
right. This is excellent. This is cool.
Right.
So basically, your equipment's usually the same age.
Right.
You know that. They're the same age.
Right.
So furnace AC. So basically, we have a package. So you get a furnace, air conditioner together. Well, we have, if you do that, a $2,000 discount.
On the package.
Uh-huh.
And it doesn't make any sense to replace the furnace and not the AC because they work together.
Correct. It's a great decision, great investment. You don't necessarily have to, but here's the deal. We've sweetened it up. So not only do you get the $2,000 off,
Right.
but then you get an air scrubber with it.
Oh, these are great.
Oh my gosh. What these do is you got mold. It helps with allergies,
Right.
all the bacteria.
Right.
Then it also takes care of dust and cleans the air.
Because
healthy, clean air.
This is the time that you shut your house down.
Right.
And the bad stuff stays in.
Exactly, because it's just circling. So therefore, that's an $1,100 value. So basically, 2011, that's $3,100. You're getting the furnace basically for free, installed. It's great.
And what's the first move? Why do people suddenly go, I need a new furnace? Because it's not a sexy buy. It's not. It's like,
No.
I need a sports car. No. So what is the motivating thing that makes people go, yeah, I got to bite the bullet and invest in my house?
Right. It's really two things. They find out we came out, there's a problem, an actual safety problem.
Right.
Or something major breaks, it's expensive.
Right.
So really there's three, that's funny.
Right.
At any rate, then the next is just age. People are like, oh, this thing's old. I know
Right.
it is. I want more efficiency.
Right,
I
right,
want it to
right.
run. And I don't want to worry about it. And then we come in every year and just keep taking care of it like the programs.
Make it
that we
last
have.
longer.
Mhm.
Right. Okay.
Right. And our stuff comes with a 10-year parts and labor warranty.
So they get you for 10 years.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Not sure they do, though. 10
Ouch.
years.
Ooh,
All right, so to go over it really quick, the real checkup for your furnace, $69.
Correct.
And then the furnace deal with the AC, how much?
$2,000 off.
Off. And then the scrubber comes
And then the
free.
scrubber, $1,100 more off.
So the
Because you
furnace-
get it for free.
All right, there you go. All right, John, tell them where to go.
Go to All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air.com or All Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air, 801-652-4755.
You know, when I do that, you take them from my feet and you throw them out at the door.
You know, I noticed, you know what this is like? This is like, I hate the vacuum, the noise of the vacuum.
Yes, you do.
Unless I'm vacuuming, and then it's cool. It's true. If you're making the noise, it's okay.
You are so weird.
But if you're sitting in the other room, it's not so cool.
So this is interesting. I didn't realize that the Salt Lake Comic-Con versus San Diego Comic-Con case was going on in San Diego until I texted Dan Farr last week because I was like, oh, have you ever tried these celebrities for? And then I went, oh my God, it's the first day of the trial. And he actually texted back going, no, that's fine. And he was talking business with me for a minute before he went back in. But it's been pretty emotional. I didn't realize this, and I'm not feeling really strong about our chances of winning.
Well, what's the case all about?
If you're following through this, basically what it is San Diego Comic-Con is the biggest con in the entire world. Obviously, but Comic-Con is a phrase that's been used by everybody all the time, everyone. And then when Salt Lake Comic-Con used it, they all of a sudden freaked out and tried to put a trademark on it, saying you're violating our trademark. And Salt Lake Comic-Con's been arguing, no, everyone's been using this forever, and you already lost a bid to trademark a certain portion, so this is crap. The judge in it got so pissy he tried to bar anyone from talking about it in social media, which is, dude, come on. But that actually got lifted by a court of appeal saying, no, that's free speech. They're allowed to talk about it.
Right.
And everyone's best guess is
This
why
seems
San
like
Diego...
a lot of business over something so petty.
Well, the reason why San Diego's freaking out because we're the second biggest con in the country now.
Right.
And they're worried we're siphoning off their power because they get all the big talent and they get all of the premieres for shows and movies and people kissing up to the fan base.
So it's really not about comics anymore.
Oh, no. It's about, I don't want to be rude, but I think it's about their greed. But I'm concerned because the judge threatened to throw Brian Brandenburg in jail yesterday. He's one of the co-founders. This is
What did he do?
Judge Battaglia. He makes these big statements, but apparently the jurors were out of the room, and Brian Brandenburg's going to testify today. He's one of the last people to testify, and he just put out a post on Facebook saying, hey, excited to talk about the fact that we believe that Comic-Cons belong to the fans and the world, and we're excited. It was just a nice thing saying this is what we believe. It wasn't like he was doing anything, and the San Diego attorney went, I think this is a highly inappropriate post, and it's just a complete attempt to taint whoever they can reach. It's like, the jurors are already out, honey. It's not like it's catching anybody.
So what they do to him?
Well, Battaglia says, I'm going to put him in jail if he violates this order. It's not to escalate this case into a war involving the world. And he says, and if he tries to talk this way on the stand, he better bring his toothbrush. It's like, really, dude?
What's the toothbrush for?
Because he's threatening to throw him into jail.
Oh, I thought it was something gross.
And it's like, really, take a break. And he says, the circuit seems to believe people can say whatever they want in the world and in the media, but they don't get that privilege in my courtroom. Battaglia, go have a coffee and rest for a minute. So Brandenburg basically is testifying today. Then it's the end, more or less, and we'll see what happens. But I'm not feeling a lot of hope when you get this kind of pissy grandstanding.
I guess I don't understand the whole problem. What you call it the Big Geek Parade. Salt Lake City, 2018.
At this point, we're so well known it doesn't matter, but at this point, it's really the principle of the thing because they're trying to clamp down on something that really does not belong to them. And
evidently, somebody's got too much money.
Well, I think Battaglia sounds like a mean judge, and I'm a little worried for us. But Brian, good luck today. We're all here for you. We love you.
Everybody put on your costumes.
And no matter what you say, San Diego, we're still second biggest to you, and we're going to take all the fun people.
So up yours.
Sorry, I'm into the spite-based mode now.
You really
I
are.
hate you. I know.
You really are.
I think just, ugh.
I've got my favorite story of the month coming up.
Okay, do you want to share this?
No. Okay. So, Delta Airlines, doesn't matter. Airlines. Okay. So, you're going along, right? And they're saying, oh, Mrs. Collier, would you like a beverage? And she says, yeah, I'll take 2. And then they give you the 2. And then Mrs. Collier is like, yes, I'll take 4. And she gets 4. And
well,
then
any
she
flight
drinks
you're on
and
for like
drinks.
4 or 5 or 6 hours.
People having sodas all around you, water and stuff. And then, for 3 hours, this is going from Seattle to Boston, 3 hours into the flight. People are going, ooh, I drank a lot of liquid. And they get up and they go to the back. They go to the bathroom, and the toilet's broken. And everyone has been hydrating.
Because you do that.
So what do you do? What do you do? What would you do? Here, you are the pilot of a plane, charge of the safety of the entire load of passengers.
Well, what's the problem so far? So they're going to go to the bathroom.
It's broken.
All the potties on the plane are broken?
Probably has something to do with a suction device of some sort.
Circulation system, something.
Who knows? But it's broken.
Oh, that's not good.
All right. So basically, you have what are your choices? Go ahead. What are your choices?
You can only pee in a cup for so long before it's an issue.
How many cups do you have, and then where do you put the cups?
Precisely. Where do the cups go?
Right, because cups don't come with lids. No. Okay. Second choice.
You're gonna have to land. You're gonna have to make an emergency potty stop landing, which is kind of sad, but
In Billings.
Billings, Montana?
Yeah. So let's get this straight.
I'd love to be in the air tower right then, wouldn't you?
The flight went from New York City to Seattle. They had a problem. Everyone couldn't hold it. Does this remind you of a family vacation? Right? Someone in the back, Dad, I gotta go.
We just pulled over. I'm not stopping again.
Right.
Yeah.
And so, so basically, the pilot makes a choice. He looks at billing. He lands. There's no gate for him to go to. So it's not like you can deploy one of the slides and use that. So basically, they parked by the fix-it hangar, and the people came out, probably not fast enough, with one of those ladders.
Hurry! Yeah.
And they came down, and they went inside and used the facilities in the warehouse building hangar thing.
They really couldn't get them to the main terminal?
There was no gate open. They're not supposed to be there.
Oh, that's true.
And so then they got everybody done. There's, sure, no more drinking liquids. And they did some work on the toilets. And then they got them out of there and got them to Seattle.
That's got to be the first emergency potty stop I have ever heard of.
Turned a plane around from 35,000 feet. They turned it around and made an emergency landing. And I'm talking emergency. In a totally different airport because people needed to pee.
Yeah, but that audio is one for the air traffic controller's Christmas party. You know that's right.
Like,
excuse me, why are you landing again, pilot?
Yeah. Yeah, you better let us land or we're going to need a carpet cleaner here. And lots of it.
Ew.
I'm going to stop there.
I think that's for the best.
I'm going to stop there and not tell you about the built up pressure in both the plane and the humans.
Okay, moving on.
My favorite story of the year.
Really?
You like service dogs? You will after this.
The Todd and Erin Morning Stream is brought to you by Fink & McGregor. If you go to fink-mcgregor.com, there's a short 4-minute quiz, and at the end of it, you can find a whole array of mortgage options, and someone will call you back from Fink & McGregor within the next business day. Also by Utah Credit Approval. Go to utahcreditapproval.com because they know that bad things happen to good people, but that shouldn't stop you from repairing your credit and getting a reliable automobile at utahcreditapproval.com. And also all Utah Plumbing, Heating, and Air. John has 24/7 service because he knows that emergencies can happen any time of the day or night. And right now they have a $69 special to check out all your heating systems to make sure they're working well. Just go to allutahplumbing.com.
Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink & McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Did you know you can buy a house with a 600 credit score?
Really?
We have lenders, we have programs, stuff that's come up in the last couple years. 600.
Wouldn't you have to have like 50% down or something though?
Nope. 3.5%.
Where would you start the process on this?
Well, Fink & McGregor has a website, 4minutemortgage.com. Just go there, fill it out, up and running.
How long until you get back to us?
1 business day. Whole thing takes about a month, start to finish.
Where do you get the down though if you're broke?
It can be a gift from family, relative, significant other, even your work.
Gift, huh?
Yeah.
You know what that makes me wish?
What?
Makes me wish I had friends with money.
All right. Here's the big news. Al Franken is going to be addressing the Senate today. Everybody's 30 Democrats are asking for his resignation.
It started with the initial allegation of abuse, where it was the picture of him showing him openly groping this woman, and it was before he went into politics, but nonetheless. But since then, there have been several other allegations of sexual misconduct and misbehavior, and so at this point, I think you should be well. In any case,
anyway. What I say is, every time that we discuss this, guys and women are probably the same, guilty of this. Is suddenly you find yourself going, but was it that? And then you go, well, yes, it was, because that's what the culture is about, and that's what everyone's fighting against. Is that somehow you can judge how bad that was for another person to be a victim of that?
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Okay.
Well, this is interesting because we've been waiting for the shoe to drop here in Utah because we've now seen it in Hollywood, and then of course it moved to Capitol Hill. We've seen it in some business arenas as well, but I haven't really seen a high-profile case here. Shoe just dropped. Greg Graves is a Utah County Commissioner. He's facing calls for his resignation amid allegations of sexual harassment. His fellow commissioners decided Wednesday that the complaints against him should become public. The Provo Daily Herald's been asking for the papers from this investigation for some time, and the judge refused to release them. And they've been like, this is the public's right to know if one of their elected officials has been doing this.
Right.
Graves is claiming that the investigation exonerated him 100%, but
Well, let's
Nathan
see it
Ivey,
then.
who's one of his fellow commissioners, said, no, I've actually seen the results of the investigation, and it confirmed my feelings. He abuses his power, he intimidates employees, and he's vindictive to those who disagree with him. And this kind of abuse of power cannot be allowed. Now, this is tricky, though, because Utah statute does not allow for the recall of an elected official based on sexual harassment, which is interesting. So he says, I believe that it's appropriate he resign his position. Graves is refusing. So this is going to be an interesting mix to see what happens here. But yeah, the investigation is about to become public so we can get a better idea. But from all of the commissioners who saw it, they all wanted him to step down, and he's refusing. So it'll be interesting.
Interesting.
But we waited. I mean, you knew it was just a matter of time that this
it's
was
gonna
going to
be- it's-
happen.
it's-
And it's going to get worse.
Imagine private businesses right now. Imagine the HR departments.
And you know what? In the private businesses, they've had a lot of abuse from women bosses as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, none of us are, I don't know, none of us are excused from bad behavior, I guess.
This is my favorite story of the decade.
Okay.
Service dogs. How handy. Service dogs protect and help with medical situations. They pick up things for their owners, and they take care of them. And if they're having seizures, they're there for them, and they can summon help.
And
if
they're
you need
huge
to.
for mobility, too, though.
And
A
they are.
service dog means the difference between getting out of your apartment or your house and going and doing things and being places and having a life, or being really more or less homebound. And that's what they're meant for. They're basically the key to your freedom from outside of your limitations.
So the human and the dog decided to go to the theater.
That's lovely.
And you would think that would be a hard place, to go to a theater and stuff. And the dog sat, next to
Yeah,
its
they're
owner,
very good, quiet,
and
quiet.
took care of it. And they happened to go see Andrew Lloyd Webber's musical, which is a fabulous
Cats?
thing. Yeah,
Oh,
it's
okay.
like one of the longest Broadway shows in the history of. Mackenzie Warren, who was dressed up in her cat outfit.
She plays Bumbaluri, I think.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, she was targeted by the dog.
What are you
The
talking?
dog rushed the stage and jumped on the stage and chased her around.
She was so convincing in her cat costume that the dog went after her.
Meow.
Oh, good Lord, that is so funny.
And so the dog couldn't help itself. Incredibly trained. I mean, these dogs are incredibly trained.
He chased her off the stage.
At first, it was like, is her performance not good enough?
Oh, that's hysterical.
She was dressed like a cat.
Oh, that is so funny. So I guess one of the ushers managed to get a hold of the dog.
Right.
And things
Well
were restrained.
behaved, except for the cat chasing.
And then the performance went on as planned, but that is hysterical.
And also,
That's actually kind of a mark of pride for her that her performance was so convincing that even the canines in the audience were confused.
and that dog is brave because look how big that stinking cat was. That's almost a fair fight.
That cat could take you. I'm
All right.
sorry.
So what's this new thing that people are
Oh,
doing?
this went viral and it's amazing. And this kid is a teenager. Now, her name is Ariel.
Hi,
She's a
Ariel.
cheerleader at Manville High School, and she posted a video to Twitter showing her patting a non-existent box
Here we
3
go.
times. Watch
Here we
this.
go. What?
She appears to step on the box.
And
Watch.
she's psyched about it.
Look
Okay.
at those thigh muscles. This girl's
Here we
strong.
go.
Watch. Pats it. I mean, that is really good.
Isolation, huh?
Look at that.
First of all, let me say this: 90% of us can't jump off the ground with one leg.
But look at her do. I mean, that is ridiculously cool.
Seriously, can you jump off the ground with one leg?
And people were accusing her of going, "Oh, you faked this somehow or something." And so in the next video, she has a fellow cheerleader pretending to kick the box out from underneath her, and she falls. But
Right.
it's really funny. I mean,
That's
I
funny.
can't even imagine the thigh muscles for that.
It's better than planking.
Good for you, Ariel.
And there's fewer people who can do this,
Well, that's for sure.
right? I think that's funny. Well, I got some comments on Facebook about my elves on the shelves. And they said, what's up for tomorrow? And okay, so we got the 2 elves. Next one.
Someone just showed them up on our
Just
doorstep.
showed up. And then I got a little carried away. And then that was carried away.
That's more playful.
Yeah.
It really
And
is.
then
That's not playful at all.
That's not playful.
No, not
Bad
even
place
slightly.
to sit.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then that's today's.
That's just mean-spirited.
Well, they're just joking around. They're elves. This is what
He's
they
about
do.
to snap his head off.
It
with
could
some garden
happen, but
shears.
no elves so far have been harmed. I'm just going to say tomorrow, I'm really looking forward to you seeing it tomorrow because it has to do with a nutcracker. So there you go. We want you to... don't.
I'm elf shaming you. No, my dove.
No, my dove.
No.
All right.
I'm going to have to elf shame you.
Oh, we're going to wrap up the week tomorrow. Thanks for joining us on the Todd and Erin morning stream on GetPartDaily.com. See you tomorrow.